What's up, world? It's good to see all your lovely faces again. Not that I can actually, see your faces, but you know what I mean. But got a question for you. Have you ever felt that your photos was just missing something, that extra snare, pizzazz? So I'm actually here to show you some things that are really, really cool, something to give you photos that extra oomph, that it'll really give your work and your portfolio some diversity, really allow you to switch it up quite a bit. But enough rambling. Let's go ahead and get into it. Before that, roll intro. Now, when choosing how to make your photos really pop, there are several things you need to think about both in pre-production and in post. A lot of this has to do with lighting and relative subject positioning, as well as the contrast with the background and other objects in your scene. So remember that when you're shooting. The major ways I'll really be highlighting in this video will be, one, how to really pull out your minor details, like the zippers here, these studs, the X and O's, small details in her hair, things to really pull your image out and draw attention towards those things, as well as texture and color contrasts, as in this image here and this image here. And I'll be using elements that are already in these photos to really draw attention towards, the desired points, like here in the laces or the yellow, to places where I really want my viewer's eye to go when looking at these photos. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start with the real basic white background, super simple, super commercial image. Let's go ahead and group all this together. We'll make another layer from this. Now, what I really wanna do is, in this jacket, I wanna pull out the studs, the seams, here in the elastic belt of the underwear. I also want to pull attention to small highlights in her hair, as well as really pull out her eyes and her lips. Now, this is all stuff I do after I'm done with all my general editing. So I'm gonna create a new layer. I'm gonna use a high pass to go ahead and pop certain details. Now, generally the high pass, you kind of want to be careful with. You don't want to do it too much. It'll really make your photo just look bleh. We're gonna switch this to soft light. We're gonna go ahead and give it a layer mask. We're gonna invert that layer mask using Control-I. And we're just gonna paint in over the details. Now, some people would do this over the entire jacket, but I don't want to do that. The jacket already has a lot of texture, so I don't want to give it more, so to speak. So I'm just gonna go over the metal of the jacket and the seams. Now, you can be pretty loose with this. You don't have to be super precise. And go over here, get these zippers. I'm also gonna go ahead and do this band here. Good, that looks really, really good. Let's go ahead and switch this to soft light. And you can already see how those minor details have begun to really pop out. It's not much, but it really pulls out the shine and the details in the seams and in the metal. Now we're gonna do the same thing with her eyes. Let's go ahead and duplicate our previous layer, and we're actually just gonna delete that layer mask and create a new one. Let's turn this back to normal so we can see what we're doing. Let's go ahead and take out the lips too. All right, and let's go ahead and turn that to soft light. And now we got ourselves some more pop in her face. Next, our highlights and shadows. Let's go ahead and create a new layer. And we're gonna use our brush tool to paint in our highlights and shadows. Let's go ahead and change this to 10%. Change this to soft light. And we're gonna zoom in and really hit these highlights. I'm gonna turn this layer off real quick. So you can already see somewhat of a major difference here. Now we're gonna switch and do our shadows. And I switched my color palette by using the X key as my shortcut. Good. That looks good. I like that. Let's deepen the shadows on this jacket here. A little bit more on her arm too. There we go. Get up in here in the hair. All right, and there we have it. Let's go ahead and put this into a group. And now you can see the difference. And actually, I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna take these 3 layers, merge them. And I'm actually gonna use my camera raw filter to boost the detail just a tad bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and play with these sharpening sliders. For a full detailed explanation of what I'm doing, I go over this whole thing in my Power of Camera Raw video. So please check that out. There. And there we have it. Our first image now has a lot more pizzazz than it had before. Even though it's minor, it's enough to really pull you in a lot more. Let's go to our second photo. As you can see, this one's raw. It hasn't been touched at all. It still has its basic background layer and its native CR2 format. So I'm gonna be doing a full build on this photo, and I'll actually have this one as well as the other 2 in the description down below for download if you guys wanna follow along. So I'm gonna go ahead, make a new layer. Go into my camera raw settings. play with this a little bit. I really love how warm this is. So I really don't wanna lose that. But let's see what it looks like on auto. Yeah, no. Boost our highlights. Drop our shadows down a little bit. I'm actually gonna bring the shadows up in another layer. Let's leave our whites where they are. Yeah, we'll leave our whites and our blacks where they are for now. Boom, just a little bit. And now I'm gonna bring out those shadows. And I really want to bring out the details and the crevices over here. Good, that looks really good. Make a new layer. Now she's not gonna need a whole lot of skin retouching at all. But I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and use my ultimate retouch. This is like the best frequency separation tool I've ever found. All right, now we got our frequency separation group all together. Let's go ahead and get to work. Now, if you notice, I'm using the same techniques that I used during my basic skin editing video. Take care of this as well. See, that is texture. So I need to shift the tones. I'm gonna go ahead and use my Gaussian blur and use that to kind of even that out. And go. Still there. Not as noticeable though. We're gonna go ahead and use our mixer brush. Just kind of mix that in, even that out a little bit. The mixture brush is also very, very good if you got those pesky parts of skin that the patch tool just doesn't seem to be able to fix. Mixer brush is really, really good for evening it out. You just need to be super careful because you'll make it look too flat. Good. That looks really, really good. I am very pleased with that. Now I want my audience to focus right here, which isn't gonna be that hard because the dots are the brightest thing in the photo, but I want to bring it out a little bit more. So I'm gonna bring out my high pass, boost our radius up, create our layer mask. With our brush tool, we're gonna do just like the last picture and just paint this stuff in. And then change to soft light. Now I just noticed something I didn't like. When I zoom in, I get this. I don't want that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. This will really help with making these dots really pop and these glasses really pop. Remember, when doing your photos, details matter. Don't be afraid to really get in there and get those small details. They'll make a big difference later on. You know, they add up. And that's the shimmer from her eye. Let's get that out of there. That looks a lot better. That looks a whole lot better. And you can see the difference when turning on the high pass. And that's actually what we're gonna do. So I want more definition on these dots. So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna take away from the actual lenses. So in order to make something really pop for you, it doesn't necessarily always have to be about adding something. If you minimize something else around it, it'll emphasize what you don't take out. And there we have it, significant change. Just by removing the high pass from the actual lens, now we really get the LEDs to pop out like we want. Now on to my standard highlights and shadows. Let's go ahead and turn this to soft light. There you go. I'm gonna pull a lot of highlights that I want out of her hair. She has a lot of these light points in her hair, so I wanna pull those out too. Good. Let's go ahead and do it on her face. Bring it down a little bit over here too. Actually, no. I like when it was bright. Deepen our shadows down in here. And there we have it. And one more thing I'm gonna add. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a vignette in here. And voila, we have our image. We've gone from this to this. Notice the subtle changes over time and how they transformed an okay image to a great image. Now this one's gonna be a little bit more unique. Here we have a lot more elements in our photo. We have different colors, we have different tones, we have depth, a lot more depth. It's not just a plain paper background. But what I really wanna do is I wanna pull my viewer's attention towards the center of the photo, towards our model, and I really wanna highlight the shoes in particular. I want people to see the shoes first, the model second, the car third. Now, most of the work has already been done when compositing this photo. This was the original photo, to here, to here. And then I just flattened the whole thing, and now we have our base photo to work from. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna take care of her skin a little bit more. Now keep in mind, frequency separation isn't needed on everything. Sometimes the patch tool will do just fine. Good. As you can see from a distance, not much of a change, but it's something that would have got on my nerves. Now, most of the dodging and burning has really already been done here, so we won't have to do a whole lot. I'm just gonna go in and hit a couple more. Just to give the photo a little bit more drama. Give it more of that stark contrast. So now we're gonna go ahead and do our high pass. So I know some of you are wondering, what's too much, what's too little? Well, that all depends on you and your image. Personally, mine is right when the macro details start to come out. As you see here. And when you begin to see more and more of the image, or when you begin to see about 70% of the image. So that's usually between 30.4 and 13. So in between there is generally my sweet spot. Personally for this, I'm gonna go with 26. Let's go ahead and create our mask. Invert it. Let's paint in over these amazing shoes. Now we got our shoes to get a little bit more pop to them. Now I want to bring out this yellow some more. Let's go to our hue and saturation layer. Boost our saturation. That looks good. I like that yellow. Let's actually make another layer from these two. I'm gonna create a clipping mask with this hue and saturation layer. We'll link it to our new layer. Invert. And then just paint in over the yellow. The beauty about this, I can change the colors if I need to. If I want to make it red, I can make it red to match the car. Go and finish painting this in. Good. But let's go ahead and turn it back yellow. Put that back at 0. Let's go ahead and create a brightness layer. Turn that into a clipping mask as well. Actually move this layer here. Now this will only affect the yellow in the shoes. That's good. And now for the final step, a beautiful vignette. So let's go ahead, create a new layer from these. Now since this is a composite image, I'm gonna go ahead and create a crop for this, just so everything's nice and smooth. Get rid of all this excess out here. Good. Now I'm gonna create the vignette by going to our camera raw filter, just as I did before. Our effects tab. I'm gonna bring all this in here. Increase our feather all the way up. Our highlights down. Just the midpoint, and then we have it. Now the eyes focus on the boots first, the model second, and the car third.
Well, that's it for this video. I hope the information I shared with you was super informative. So if you would, please smash that like button, share and subscribe. All love is welcome. And until the next one, peace.